some interesting ways to market here. This had a ton of views, a ton of likes. And I want to hear if you think other agents should do similar things to this.
I don't even think she had to make the basket. I'm just saying.
Was there any kind of relation to real estate at all in that, or was it just a
No.
hot chick shooting a basket?
She said on her caption, "How long do you think it took to do this shot?" And then her name is real estate agent something, like, and it had maybe a couple of hashtags about real estate. That's it.
Sex sells, boys. That's why we're struggling.
Well, if it captures something, if you're looking at a house or you're looking at a lady floating on an inner tube doing kind of that lifestyle thing, it just captures more people. And then ultimately they're thinking about that house or they're thinking about real estate. I would assume if they saw that video, they might click into her stuff and then it shows that she's a realtor. And maybe you want to work with her. I mean, the whole key is to try to get your stuff seen.
If that was somebody that was not necessarily in the eyes of the public viewer attractive or whatever, they wouldn't be getting the clicks. Nobody would watch the whole video. They'd be like, whatever, click, right, spin through it, right?
Hey, did we ever find out how many times that took to get that shot?
No.
I heard if you rerun it and watch it, Chris, a couple hundred times, eventually it tells you.
The worst tenant that I ever had was actually in the first rental property that I ever bought. And I bought that house for $35,000, renovated for $5,000, and it was worth $55,000 after. About a year into owning that first ever rental property, the tenant left and left the house a complete disaster. They actually took their feces and spread it all across the walls. Seriously, no shit. It cost close to $10,000 to just clean up the property to get it rent ready again.
Been there many times, actually. I've always wondered why it's the landlord's fault that the tenants can't pay the rent. I've always wondered that, but it's their fault. And so why not wreck it? And then we have to spend $10,000 to fix it and then lose 2 or 3 months of rent before that. That's really, really smart.
Probably, 15 years ago, I had a big bank out east that called me, and we had a fourplex in Minneapolis that needed to be sold, and they were like, make sure everybody's out of there, clean it up, make sure it's safe. And I go down there, and the first time I go down there, I see all these people going in and out of there. So I call my buddy who's a cop, and I said, hey, can you show up with me, just flip the lights on once or whatever, and just we'll walk in together. I need to check occupancy, whatever. And here this house was basically a drug haven. One of the tenants had left, and they left the door unlocked. So all of a sudden you have all these junkies that are going down there and shooting up with drugs and whatever else. They had nowhere to go to the bathroom, so they started going to the end of the hall and literally taking dumps in the hallway. Smeared hand, poop all over. It was disgusting. You could smell that house, I'm not kidding you, from the alley. And I just was like, what do you do with something like this? And eventually we got to the point of where the cops were like, listen, they're going to keep busting these locks every time because now they want to come in here. It's kind of like, the bugs that want to get back in the house, right? He goes, you're better off just leaving this thing unlocked until you sell it and auction the damn thing. That's what ended up happening. It just was an as-is auction, and they got like pennies on the dollar for this place. But